So a few weeks ago, I was on eBay browsing as I do because I like Transformers and Bionicle and all this stuff, when suddenly I stopped myself. And I was really proud of that because I feel that I spend too much time window shopping, thinking about what I could buy next, and not enough time appreciating what I already have. Thank you, Waking Up app and meditation. I actually think I am legitimately happier because I think about these things deliberately now. And that's why I was proud to stop myself from doing that sort of window shopping. But then a couple of hours later, I get hit by a notification from eBay being like, hey, remember that thing you were looking at? Don't forget to buy it. And I got really upset because I had succeeded, I had resisted the temptation, and then here comes eBay trying to get me to fall back into it. And look, first thing I'll say is I get it. I get why apps are this way. I've been a product manager and product marketing manager trying to drive adoption of more parts of a product, sending emails, notifications, running surveys, that kind of thing. I totally get why things are this way, and I'm not mad at individual product managers or people like that in these companies, but I'm just really tired of the culture in general, and I just think there should be more thoughtfulness around boundaries, I guess. Because this instance really brought up something for me, which is, holy crap, I am tired of everything being like this. Every digital experience I have is basically me using an app or service for something that I actually want and maybe even need, and then that app or service just pummeling me with notifications and emails, trying to get me to do way more than I need. For example, I go to Freebird Burrito because it's in walking distance of where I live, and don't get me started about the walkable city phenomenon and how car dependency is bad for our lives, but anyways, I go to Freebird Burrito frequently, almost like once a week, and I still get pummeled by ads and push notifications being like, hey, 30% off today for the extra large burrito bowl. Order 3 times this week and we'll give you a free cookie and a free drink. And I'm like, I don't need the cookie. I don't want the cookie. Part of the reason why I go to your place is because it's a nice fixed portion. It keeps me accountable for having a fixed portion and not eating too much. It allows me to get a walk in and therefore some good exercise in. And yeah, I couldn't want a cookie from Freebird Burrito less. Like, I do not want to be addicted to those cookies at all. And so that's another really clear example, I think, of like food, like literally putting unhealthy stuff into our bodies because you want more engagement with the restaurant, and you're doing it through these digital channels, all of which we spend more space in than we do in like public town squares or anything like that. Again, part of the walkable city conversation too. And so I just want to make this rant because I think it deserves to be thought of more and maybe some regulation or something like that. Another example I have is airlines, where I actually want the airline apps because I like the convenience of a digital boarding pass. I like getting push notifications reminding me to check in, telling me if I have a gate change or cancellation or anything like that. But I don't want that airline app advertising to me that some flight to somewhere is on sale. Like, I'm not going to travel somewhere just because of that push notification. I'm sure that works for some people, but for me, it's just noise. Like, it's just annoying noise. And if one airline did it, fine. But if all 5 airline apps on my phone are doing it, that kind of becomes annoying. And if every single industry is doing it, every restaurant, every airline app, every fitness related app, which even if the fitness is good for you, I have my schedule figured out. I don't want to be reminded to go to your yoga studio. I don't want to be upsold on an LA Fitness membership that allows me to go out of state. I'm happy with what I've got. And look, I know some of you are saying, just turn off the notifications. You can do that, you can customize it, but there's 2 problems with that. For one, for the airline example I'm talking about, I just gave a really clear example of why I want some of those notifications on. And on Android at least, for this airline, you actually can't customize between marketing notifications and other notifications. Some apps do that, but this one does not. And so that's a perfect example of regulation that I think we could have, which is if you're gonna send marketing emails, which is a little bit subjective, but pretty easy for us to agree on what a marketing email or notification is, you must allow the user to opt out of that. In fact, we've already kind of done that with GDPR and other laws, so let's get that everywhere we can because people deserve this protection, and it's not good to just kind of constantly yank people from more consumption and habits that might not be good for them. And second of all, I think there's a sort of usability crisis in terms of elderly people and phones. As more and more things become like, you need a phone to do this, like pay your bills online, elderly people are having a pretty hard time with that, I think. For example, I have experience with one person who was trying to pay their bills online as they always have, but they kept getting a pop-up notification encouraging them to download the app, likely so that they could get a better foothold in the device, maybe sell them on some loans, all the stuff I'm complaining about. And that elderly individual did not understand if they could still pay their bills through the web portal. They didn't want to download the app, they don't know how to download apps, so I had to show them like, hey, it's just a pop-up notification, you can close it, it makes it messier, it's annoying, but you can still pay your bills as you always have. Which I hope remains true for them. But for that person, I hate to think about all the times they actually do need to download an app and just really struggle to use it for parking, for boarding an airplane, for ordering food, for opening a gift card that someone might have sent them, anything like that. It's not trivial for a lot of people to just simply turn off these notifications and customize their experience. And while I think we want to up-level individuals to be able to do that, I always think we should approach problems both from the individual point of view, empowering people to be better against the system, but also trying to change the system. Make it so that these companies aren't enticed or are regulated in some way against probing us constantly and trying to steal our attention spans away from us and get us to consume as much as possible in ways that might not be good for us. I was so angry in this moment that eBay sent me this notification, and it really sharpened my ideas around how frustrated I am with this digital experience we have right now, where everything is constantly competing for my attention and wanting me to consume in ways that might not be good for me. I sort of wrote it in this one song called My Attention Span, where the first verse is basically like, sell me something I don't need, make me feel so incomplete, mess up my attention span, I just want to feel again. Like the end of that is a little melodramatic and emo, but it really captures how I was feeling in that moment, which is just really angry and like, I can't take it anymore. And so that's why I made this rant. I hope it moves the needle a tiny bit. If not, maybe you can just find a cool song to listen to. My song is in the bio. But those are my feelings on digital notifications today, digital noise, companies and their endless quest for us to consume more from them, and I hope things get better. I did see a case the other day where the FCC was cracking down on Amazon for dark UX, which is basically the phenomenon of intentionally making things harder for people to use in hopes that they'll consume more or behave in a way you want them to, which is great. I'm sure that that's going to be really hard, and dark UX is always kind of subjective, but I'd rather see some effort, or hopefully a lot of effort, going towards these things than none at all. And it kind of feels like we've been living in the Wild West digitally for a while, so I'm hoping it improves and that we're at the bottom of the pit here, and that it only gets better from here. Anyways, thanks for listening to my rant. This is where I post about rants like that, or maybe science videos about meditation, as I briefly mentioned in this video. So if you're into those kinds of things and you like hearing me talk, please consider subscribing and stay tuned for more.
Tell me something I don't need, make me feel so incomplete, mess up my attention span. I just wanna feel again. I am drowning digital, I need something physical. Stim me up with something real, something to reach out and feel.